So I did a lesson on playing Bluesier Travis picking licks in C, and all the examples were in open position, right? So but I wanted to talk a little bit about using more closed position chord voicing so you can get up the neck and ultimately actually be able to play these licks in kind of whatever key you want to play them in. You're not tied to the open position. I don't really like playing bar chords, and I like getting things to feel open and have open strings. So this is kind of in between, because as you'll see, like sometimes you're grabbing a bar chord, but sometimes you're just grabbing a couple of notes, you know, an interval. And so it doesn't feel like you're holding down a bar all the time. So the basic idea is, if you're coming out of C, you can come up into this C shape, and it looks like a bar, but I'm really just holding down the root and the fifth and the third. You can use this chord shape, which is like B7 slid up, and you can even use this kind of this C7 chord where you're just grabbing the root and the seventh and the root on top, and that lets you, it gives you quite a spread. And the idea is you're always holding down some kind of boom chick on the bottom, but you're able to play melodies out of this kind of scale that's basically, it's, you know, sort of a bluesy Mixolydian scale. Sometimes in some of the electric lessons I've called it the swing scale. The root, second, flat third, third, skipping over the fourth for convenience, to the fifth, the sixth, the flat seven, and the root. So and so it's mostly in closed position. So let me just get into what the voicings are, and maybe just give an example or two of the kinds of licks that I'm doing, and that'll be that. So I'm starting with the C chord, and so the first couple notes of the melody, I'm doing the alternating thumb, fifth string, fourth string, sixth string, fourth string. But as I'm passing through the melody, I'm using sixths between the fourth and the second string, and then landing like that. So right here I've got the thumb and the middle finger. So instead of playing like that in open position, I'm already starting to move up into this bar chord position. And here's my bass, or actually like that. Now up here, it looks like a bar chord, but I'm really only worried about holding down the root here on the third fret of the fifth string, and the fifth of C here on the fifth fret of the fourth string, and then rocking the bass back and forth between the fifth and the sixth string. And on top, I'm picking notes. I am holding down enough bar to get the high string to ring out, and then getting the fifth, the sixth, and the flat seven on top here. So really, 7, 6, 5, and 3, all those melody notes. And then if you want the root, you come back down into open position. And if you want the blue note and you want to get back into the root in kind of a cool way, you take that same interval of a sixth that's connecting up the open position C to the bar C, and slide them down from the fourth fret. So in that case, I've got, here's my pinch of like the root and the fifth on top. And then the next time the thumb comes in, it's pinching these two notes at the third fret. And then getting the root, and the bass is down here on the fifth string. So, And any one of those things can work as a little lick fragment of its own. And if you want to get the root on top, you can grab the root, you can grab the low root, the bass note, on the 8th fret of the low string, and grab the melody, the root on the high string, also at the 8th fret. And then your thumb can alternate over to the 8th fret on the 4th string, which is getting the 7th of the chord. Instead of trying to hold down a whole bar chord like this, that's enough of a shorthand. And if for some reason you want to alternate the bass to the 5th string, you can grab the 3rd over here on the 7th fret of the 5th string. But I tend to grab it just in passing, and then you're away and gone again. So you only end up having to cover a little bit of bass, and then so it gives you this way to get all the way up here and back. And when you're coming back, if you've grabbed the root here and you're going down to this position next, the next time you want to grab the bass, you want to grab the 5th in the bass, so that you get this feeling of, so that's how those three shapes kind of tie together. Now the thing that's really useful about it beyond all that is that if you're playing the C without using really the open G or the open high string, and we're not really, you could move it, and these make great licks for D. And that's a way to get from the root down to the 7th. Here's the D chord, then passing through an E flat 7 with the 5th in the bass, and then down. So really just, you know, doing just a little half-step chromatic move. So that's doing D, and yeah, I kind of repeated the D bass a couple times, and there's ways to avoid that. But you could even, you know, so if you must fingerpick an E flat without a capo, this will let you do it. So the possibilities are, you know, they go on and on. And even if you're, I mean, you're not going to really play an E flat without a capo. That would be crazy. But if you needed to grab a chord for a song, you know, you're playing a song where you need to grab, you know, something like that just for a bar or two, here's a way to grab it, and it still kind of feels like finger picking, and it still feels like you're not grabbing some sort of clunky bar chord or just uncomfortable voicing, because it looks familiar, it feels familiar, and you can find a lot of the same notes. So that's some ideas about how to get out of open position while still finger picking in C. I hope that gives you some ideas. You can start to combine that with the playing that you do in open position. So try that out. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them for me down below. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you next time.